this was a hard list to do. I mean, there's so many great 80s horror films out there. I can't even mention them all. I mean, Christine, you got Sleepaway Camp, Reanimator, Friday the 13th, Hellraiser, The Burning, Night of the Creeps, you know, Eaten Alive, Night of the Comet, there's The Howling. There's so many movies that I personally enjoy. I'm not even going to do an honorable mention. I can't. It's impossible. There are just way too many. So, but I did come up with my top 10. Some of these you might look at like, oh, you know, that's a no-brainer. And some of these you might just be like, that's interesting. But these are movies that I can watch over and over again, or that I've seen so many times that they're just my favorites. And I think a lot of you probably will guess what my number 1 is, but we'll get to that. Okay, so enjoy the video. Starting with number 10 is David Cronenberg's The Fly, starring Jeff Goldblum. When it comes to The Fly, I like the original, but this one really amps it up with the effects and the gore and stuff. I mean, there is some sick stuff. And I remember watching this at a young age, and it pretty much scarred me. Because, I mean, whenever I think of Jeff Goldblum, it's either Jurassic Park or this movie. I feel better on remembering him from Jurassic Park because of what happens to him in this film, but whatever. Gina Davis is also in this. Really, really cool science fiction horror film. So, number 10. Coming in at number 9, this is the Collector's Edition Scream Factory version of John Carpenter's The Thing, starring Kurt Russell. Another good sci-fi, like a sci-fi horror film. I like the characters. I like the creature designs in this. I like the setting. You know, the fact that they're in Antarctica doing research on a alien species that's been in the snow for 100,000 years. I love the whole movie. It's great. And again, this has the original is fantastic as well. And then they made the I don't know if it's a remake or if it was I don't know. I didn't really care for that one. So that's number 9. Coming in at number 8, A Nightmare on Elm Street. To me, this is a very unique film. The fact that you can die in your sleep. You have a nightmare and you die. And when you don't wake up from it. You die in your nightmare, you die for real. And I find that like really scary. And the character Freddy Krueger, very unique character as well. He's not like Jason or Michael Myers. He doesn't wear a mask. He talks, he laughs, he fights back. I love it. So, the original Nightmare on Elm Street definitely left a mark in horror history. Coming in at number 7 for me is Halloween 2. My favorite sequel in the Halloween franchise. Yes, I like this more than the 2018 movie. I did like the 2018 movie, but I kind of wish they would have done that movie after this. I don't care. The brother and sister thing is fine. I don't think they needed to take that out. I think it was fine. It gave the characters more of a connection. But I love Halloween 2, the hospital theme. To me, Halloween 2 is like Rocky 2 to Rocky 1. It starts like right after the first movie. That's what I think about Halloween 2. So, that's number 7. Coming in at number 6. Now, this was in my top 10 favorite zombie films of all time. And it's definitely one of my favorites. The Return of the Living Dead, directed by Dan O'Bannon. You know, this is one of those films that I saw at a young age, and I was always terrified the fact that these zombies can't die. I mean, they're already dead, but I mean, you can't dispose of them. Shooting them in the head isn't going to work. Cutting their head off isn't going to work. Burning them doesn't even work, because they just keep coming after you. And, you know, in this movie they want brains, which is different. But these zombies are fast, they tackle you, they talk, they use stuff like weapons. Very different from the Romero ones. So, it's a lot of fun. The Return of the Living Dead. Number 5. A science fiction horror / action film. Definitely one of my favorites is Predator. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Basically about this creature in the jungle that starts hunting these soldiers for sport. I mean, he came to the, you know, this creature came to Earth to hunt for sport. And he collects, you know, your bones and your skull and your spinal cord and stuff for trophies. And then Arnold goes 1-to-1 with the Predator, and that's really awesome. Come on, kill me, do it, I'm right here, kill me now, do it now! What can I say that hasn't already been said? This movie is one of the best. It really is great. Number 4 is my all-time favorite werewolf movie. I know Chris, my buddy Chris, you know, I know him from YouTube. He wanted me to talk about my favorite werewolf movies, and I don't really own that many. I probably could do a video where I talk about the werewolf movies that I own in my collection. I could probably do that. But this is hands down my favorite werewolf movie of all time. Okay, directed by John Landis, and that is A Werewolf in London, American Werewolf in London. And I always talk about that beginning scene, man. That beginning scene where they go to that pub, they leave the pub, and they're out in the middle of nowhere, and that werewolf terrorizes, you know, he starts running around him, and then attacks one of the guys and just rips him apart. The transformations in this are incredible. I think they even watched this movie during Michael Jackson's Thriller. Because I think Michael Jackson's Thriller, wasn't that directed by John Landis? The whole, directed by him. But I think they watched that movie in the theater in the beginning of the music video. So, you know, this movie is very well known, but it's so well done. Like, the effects is what's, that's what really makes it seem realistic. Rather than just something fake image on the screen like CGI or anything. But this is my favorite werewolf movie, American Werewolf in London. Number 3 is one of the scariest films I've ever seen, directed by Mary Lambert, and till this day I consider it one of the scariest films, and that is Stephen King's Pet Sematary, and I cannot believe they're remaking it. I'll go see it, but I don't really have high hopes for it, because this one was so good. When I was younger, you know, watching this movie, you know, the Zelda scenes with, you know, Rachel's sister that has the spinal disease, Gage, you know, the little boy getting hit by the truck, and then he gets buried up at the Micmac burial grounds and comes back evil. Same with the cat church. Just the whole idea that there's like a forest with the pet cemetery, and then whatever's beyond it, you can't go. You can't go there, but they end up going there. And on top of a mountain, there's a Micmac burial grounds where it's like an Indian burial ground. If you try to bury something up there, it will come back, but it won't come back the way that you know it to be. Or if you bury, like, you know, one of your relatives up there, they will come back, but they won't come back as one of your relatives. They will come back as something evil and different. That's what I liked about this film. Very, very cool. Coming in at number 2. This was also in my top 10 favorite zombie films of all time. And this is just behind Dawn of the Dead. George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. And this is George A. Romero's Day of the Dead, which does come after Dawn. But as far as the movie, as far as I'm liking this film, it in ways beats Dawn of the Dead by its I want to say like its gore scenes, because throughout this film there are a lot of great gore scenes, and Dawn of the Dead doesn't really pick up until the third act when the motorcycle gang comes in the mall. That's when everything starts to go haywire. But in this movie there's scenes throughout the film that are just gory, bloody, great scenes. And the fact that they're underground doing research on these zombies, they're in kind of like a bunker slash mine area, and it's just claustrophobic. Like for me, tight spaces, I don't do so well. And this movie bothered me in that way. So, Day of the Dead, definitely one of Romero's best. And for me, it's always like he has that trilogy: Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, and Dawn. Or Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. Those are the three movies that I consider probably the best zombie films. I mean, of course, he did Land of the Dead and Dire of the Dead, Survival of the Dead, all that. But the three Dead films, the first three are, you just can't beat them. So now, coming in at number one, those of you might already know this or have guessed this, but there's no question. When it comes to 80s and horror, this is my favorite horror film of all time. So it made sense to put this as my number one favorite 80s horror film. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. No doubt. Hands down. To me, The Shining is a masterpiece in horror. It has everything. The haunted house aspect, great character performances. It's got blood and gore in some scenes. Not a lot, but some. It's even got subtle comedy. It's not really like slapstick comedy, but it's comedy from Jack Nicholson that you'd laugh at because he's so hysterical. But it's almost like you're not supposed to laugh, but you do because he's acting so crazy. Go check out The Snow Cat and see what I mean. Go check it out! Go check it out! Wendy, you've had your whole fucking life to think things over. What's a couple seconds gonna do you now? Wendy, give me the bat. Stop swinging the bat. Wendy, stop swinging the bat. Give me the bat. I said, I'm not going to hurt you. You didn't let me finish my sentence. I said, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to bash your brains in. I'm going to bash them right the fuck in. The Shining, everyone from Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, who was great, Scatman Crothers was good, and Danny Lloyd. Great cast. I mean, this movie is a masterpiece. Kubrick had the best idea about this haunted hotel up in the mountains, isolated from everything else. His family goes up there to be the caretakers of the hotel for the winter, gets snowed in, and they have to deal with, like I said, isolation, loneliness, being up at that hotel with nothing to do. And then they start seeing twin girls in the hallway. They start, seeing stuff like ghosts and like people who are obviously not there. Room 237, a woman in a bathtub who tries to strangle Danny. And Jack Nicholson makes out with this chick from the bathtub and ends up being this decaying chick. Oh my You should see his face. Jack Nicholson's making out with his hot chick. She's all naked and he's making out with her. He looks at her and she starts decaying and she's like all old and he's like, whoa, whoa. I love that scene so much. Oh my God, he is so creeped out. He gets out of that room, he shuts the door, and you can still hear her laughing in the room. Oh my God! That's enough to... Do I need to even say anymore? This movie is a masterpiece in horror. Okay? It is. This also has a really cool documentary shot by Vivian Kubrick, and I believe that was Stanley's daughter. She did a making of documentary which was really cool. It shows you all the behind the scenes stuff, like even Stanley writing the script and doing changes in the script, and talking about how Shelley Duvall is like talking about how she has kind of struggled with Stanley a little bit, like they didn't see eye to eye and they were always arguing and stuff like that. Really cool stuff. I definitely suggest you check this movie out. It's too bad that Stephen King doesn't like this version. That's sad. Anyway, yeah. That is my top 10 favorite movies of the 80s. As far as horror goes.